Hello everyone, welcome to the third video of this series. This is Oracle Multi-Tenant Architecture 12.1 and 12.2 comparison and some detailed picture of what is going on underneath or under the hood of multi-tenant architecture itself. So let's move forward. So what our objective will be, by the end of this lecture you will be able to understand and describe the differences between CDB and PDB, describe the multi-tenant architecture, describe the difference between shared and local undo configuration, and describe the difference between local and common users. Okay, so in high level, multi-tenant architecture is composed of instance and multi-tenant container database. So this one, right? So instance is same. Instance has not changed. Instance has SGA. It has background process like database writer, log writer, pmon, smon. But the major change came in the multi-tenant container database. So in multi-tenant container database, there is only one and only one root in one container. It is also called root. Now, the root contains Oracle supplied metadata, the data dictionary of the system objects, source code of Oracle supplied PL SQL packages. Now, so root has data files which all traditional database had before, like system, sysocs, undo, and temp. You can also create permanent user table spaces, but we actually should disregard, or we should not select that option of creating application objects under the root. It is completely meant for administrative activities. If you really want, you can create pluggable databases and install the application code into it. Now, one more difference is the control files, the online redo log files, the parameter files, as well as archive log files belong to only CDB. It does not belong to any pluggable databases. So you need to make sure that you log into CDB root and then perform those activities if you want to shut down the database or whatever you want to do. So kind of a complete container level activities you can perform, or you can backup archive log, you can backup the database. Everything should be done from the container level itself. Now in PDB has only data files. So just a second. So now what multi-tenant architecture we would learn, we actually learned here. So CDB, as we already know, CDB houses one or more pluggable database, as you can see in here. Like there is root, so there is a container, this big box. Under it there is a CDB root. It actually manages control file, redo log file, and data files, and it has system, sysocs, undo table space, and everything. CRM and HR, as you see, those are two pluggable database. It has its own application code, so it has its own data files. It is actually plugged into the root container. What is non-CDB now? Non-CDB is the Oracle database which do not have this multi-tenant option. So when you think of it, you can think as either in 12.2 when you install the database, you will reach to the specific section or the page in DBCA where you have to select install container. You deselect that option, and now your database is non-container database, or you can think of also as 11.2, that is 11G R2 database or below. What is pluggable database? So as I already said, that pluggable database is a collection of schema and schema objects that appear to Oracle Net Client as non-CDB. So what it's trying to say is, when an application user is trying to connect to its application database, they will never feel that this is a container database. They will feel the same as non-CDB. So moving on. So multi-tenant architecture terms are CDB root, as I already said. This is a root. In code level, it's called CDB $root. So you need to make sure that you remember this. It has the master set of data files and metadata, as I already said. Data dictionary table, Oracle supplied package and system user, and contain information regarding all the containers within the CDB. So root CDB has all the information of what is plugged into it. So that's what I said before, that root contains the metadata of all the pluggable databases as well, but does not contain data. So you need to remember that. Seed PDB, $seed, which is called. So just a second. One more thing, this CDB root, the root, its name is CDB root. So when you actually check show $v containers or show PDBs, so show PDBs will just show the PDB $seed and the PDBs, but when you say $v containers, then you will see CDB root. CDB root has the name CDB $root, which you cannot change. Okay, so you need to make sure that you know that this name, particular name, cannot be changed, and there is one and only one root, that is CDB root. In the container there can be no more than one root. That the user data should not go into the CDB $root. And as let me show you, okay, we will see that later. Seed PDB, I'll just give you an overview that this is a pet template PDB. It's not showing the picture, but in future I will show you. So it is a template PDB which is used to create which has metadata, which is used to create new pluggable databases, and you cannot modify any objects under seed container. Let's move forward. So now this is a traditional instance, whatever you would have seen before in pre 12.1, or rather non multi-tenant databases. But whatever is changed, which is significant, is in the database level on the seed, which is called CDB, the container multi-tenant container databases. As I have already said, that there is one CDB root and one and only one CDB root. There are CDB root data files, same as non-CDB, system sysocs and data files and temp files. Now the difference being that when you see this red color undo, this is 12.1 version, where there was only shared undo, there was no local undo. So the biggest problem in this architecture was architecture problem was that point in time recovery of specific PDB was not allowed in this particular architecture. If you would have rather wanted to do a point in time recovery of the databases, you can only do it for entire CDB in 12.1. and there is also problem of availability constraint when you would have cloned the PDB. So that cloning also has an issue. When you wanted to clone, this shared undo would have created a lot of problem, right? Now for what I was talking about is for redo log file. So now when log buffer is when anybody gives commit, right, log writer would write into redo log files, as everybody knew, and then archiver process would write into the archive redo logs. This redo logs files is generated for the complete container and not for the specific PDB, that you need to remember. So this instance is for the whole CDB, So the redo log also is for the complete CDB. It's not specific to any PDB. That has to be remembered. We already have talked about PDB seed. Every PDB will have same amount of data files. So application data plus system provided table spaces, system sysocs and temporary table spaces, as well as the source code or the application code of any application getting deployed in these pluggable databases. So this particular red color undo is shared undo. Now in 12.2, local undo could be created now, and this has created a good effect, or you can say this is kind of a best architecture if you think of to be used for recovery, that is point in time recovery as well as flashback. So what happened and what changed and what are the benefits of local undo? So now every PDB, as you already know, that every PDB has its own undo table space. Now if you want to do point in time recovery, you can do at PDB level, whatever PDB it is, you can do at PDB level. When you actually go through the option of installing database using DBCA, you will see an option where to check the box to create the container database. Underneath it there is also a box saying that create local undo table space for pluggable databases. So you have to select that and then you are good to go, and you will have more efficient flashback database in the local undo mode. These are the benefits of local undo, which was not good in shared undo. So whatever we talked about, it's mentioned here. You guys can actually read it, pause the video and then read it. Moving forward, now let's talk about the users. There are different type of users, as there are different type of containers, so there are different users. Just like I have already said, that CDB $root is for manageability and for administration activities. It's a powerful container. Whatever users are created, those users are called common users. And when users are created in pluggable database level, those are the local user. Let's talk about the local users first. Local users are defined only in PDBs and not known outside of PDB. It can only connect to the PDB where the particular user is defined. So I'm talking about local users now. So if user A has been, or user HR or user 1 has been defined in the HR pluggable PDB pluggable database, then it can only connect with its privilege. So if privilege has been granted, authorization has been granted, it can only connect to HR pluggable database. And HR will not know the CRM and sales, as you can see in the picture. HR will feel like this is a non-CDB database. Every code or every details of it, or the data files as well as data itself is segregated from the different environment or the different departments. If you call it HR is a department, CRM is department, sales department, they would feel like it's a non-CDB database. That's how they connect. Now the user one, when we create in HR, user one cannot be created in container database as a root database. There is a constraint. I will show you. There is a different way to create the users in CDB root, and a different way to create in and the same way to create users in pluggable database. It's same as non-CDB, but in container database, the CDB $root database, it's a different way of creating, and no local user should be created in the CDB root. Only the administrator's account, if you want an administrator account, only those IDs should be created in CDB $root. Now moving forward to the common users. So As you see, system is kind of a common user, which is automatically created when we install the multi-tenant database. These ones are only defined in root. It is known in the root. So these common users are known in the root and all the pluggable databases. So this system will be known in HR, CRM and sales, and if in future we install another database, then that particular database, let's say database number A, that pluggable database is A, that pluggable database A will also know about system database. So common users are known in all pluggable database, either the existing ones or upcoming ones. Common users can perform administrative activities. That's why they're called common users. Those are administrative users. What actions they can perform? They can actually create a PDB, or they can unplug the PDB, and there are other options we will see in future what they can perform. As we already discussed, that system is the common user, and we can create an alternate common users as per our environment into the CDB $root, but the creation style is totally different. It's not same as non-CDB databases as we earlier saw, or we used to see in 11GR2 and prior to that. Okay, so whatever I actually discussed about local and common users are mentioned here. You guys can actually go through it and make sure that you guys are clear about it. I hope everyone actually liked this video. Please comment and make sure that you guys understand everything, and please comment on my YouTube channel if anybody wants more detail about it and wants to discuss any more details about any particular topic. I will come up with the part 4 and beyond pretty soon. And one more thing, I will start coming with Linux administration videos as well, the normal Linux administration, like creating user, changing the permissions and those things, and then we can move on to the advanced topics as well in latest version and CentOS version 7 and beyond versions of Linux, that is CentOS. So thank you very much for watching. Good night.